Good afternoon. My name is Deontay Shaw, and this video is an introduction video where I'll be sharing details about myself, some facts about my life, and my real estate journey. First and foremost, I would like to start off is if you know me, then you know that I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I was born and raised there for the first 13 years of my life. And the reason that I bring that up is because it is pivotal to who I am today. If I wasn't from there, then I would never be able to recognize the opportunities that are elsewhere. Um, and that's just kind of what it is. Being from there builds character, it builds substance, it builds reality. Because I know and love a lot of people that are still in Baltimore to this day. Number two, my entrepreneurial journey started for me when I was 15 years old. And if you grew up with me out here, which I'm sure you haven't, but you know that my entrepreneurial journey started when I was 15 years old and I used to sell mixtapes in front of Walmart, Kroger's, different other stores all around Clayton County. My uncle had a gospel CD, I had a hip hop CD, and later down the line, my mom ended up writing a book, which is very dear and special to me. So I decided to sell that too to get the message out there because the book is a true story. This is something that carried me probably for 5 to 6 years. I did that all the way from 15 all the way until my 20 or 21, maybe. And this is where my journey begins. One day I was in a store selling CDs and I sold a CD to this lady named Billy McCroy. Shout out to Billy. And she asked me, "Is this all you do all day?" And I said, "Yeah, pretty much." And she said, "You know what? Well, I have a great opportunity that I want to share with you." And she invited me to a meeting, and I ended up becoming an agent with Primerica. Yes, your boy Deontay Shaw sold life insurance at one point in time. Crazy, right? Now, life insurance ultimately ended up not really being for me, but I learned a few great things along the way, such as how life insurance ties in with annuities and Roth IRAs and other financial services. So this was something that definitely broadened my perspective on the industry. And I know great life insurance agents still to this day because of that experience. Shout out to Billy McCroy. Shout out to Kendrick Howard. Those were the team that I was on. And those people are very close to my heart still to this day. Now, it got to a point where even though I sold life insurance, I could never really take my focus off of mixtapes. And I think that this comes in with, being from where I'm from and having a legit way to make some fast money. I'm not selling anything illegal. You know, some people could say soliciting, whatever. But it wasn't anything that was harmful to anyone or nothing like that. So uh, having that legit way of income and then knowing that I have the talent to be able to generate the kind of money where literally I probably could go to Walmart right now and still sell a mixtape. And if you know me, then you know this is most likely true. So I think that it was just you get so caught up in the right now that I don't think I ever really established a real goal or plan for my insurance career. And it's very difficult to sell death on top of that. So I was saying, I need to do something. I need something that's going to take me to the next level, need something a little bit more. So I started working at Heritage Volkswagen of Union City. Now, these guys are also pivotal to me in my upbringing as a young adult and a young man. This is where I met some of the most realest men that I've ever met in my life. I'm talking about accountable, real with themselves, constantly striving for better, looking out for brothers for real. These guys, it's too many to name, but you know who you are, and you will always hold a special place in my heart All of them guys. You know what I mean? And I can start shouting out this and that, but that'll probably take me a whole nother minute. So I worked at the car dealership, and this is where I had an epiphany. Now, coincidentally, like the first time, this reoccurred again where the person who I sold a car to, lady named Kathy Sims, shout out Miss Kathy, convinced me to become a real estate agent. I sold her a car. She said, you know what? You got great service. You know, you got the character for it. Have you ever thought about trying real estate? And I said, you know what? I have, but I just didn't know. You know, it's something I always wanted to do for real, but not something that I guess I felt like was actually attainable, if that makes sense. And I thought about it briefly, but you know how life go. You get into this, get into that, you know, job, family, blah, 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 right? And it hit me, the epiphany hit me on a month that I probably made the most money that I've ever made up to that point, right? And mind you, I'm selling mixtapes. So if I can make, you know, $50 in an hour, that was great for me. If I could go out there in front of Walmart or Kroger or whatever and make $100 in between 2 and 3 hours, I was good as golden, right? So now we talking about different level of money where I almost made $9,000 this month in particular, right? And I had an epiphany because I realized the amount of time, energy, and everything that I sacrificed to get that 9,000, it made me question if it was worth it, right? Was it worth me being in this cycle of living and taking away so much time from my family? I mean, you got to think, we work from 8:30 to 8 on a regular day. Our short day was on 5, and I think we might have had 1 or 2 short days a week. But of course, you're not going to take a short day if you're trying to hit your numbers, right? So we didn't have Saturdays off. We was there from 9 to 8 on Saturday. And at first, we didn't have Sundays off either. It's just not for me. The guys who in the car dealership, those guys are gladiators. And I'm talking about mentally, right? Like we could do a bunch of, you know, lifting and doing this and doing this and, you know what I mean? Taking this here and taking this there and stuff like that. And the physical stuff will wear you down. But the mental stuff have you where, like, you don't want to talk to nobody. You don't want to look at nobody for a whole day because you're literally doing that all day. So these guys are gladiators. So I make the most money I ever made, almost 9,000. And then the thought came to me, I'd rather make 5,000 and have more control over my time. I'm sorry. That's just how I'm cut. I want to be there for my children, their accomplishments, my wife, her accomplishments, the milestones that we make in our life as a family. All of this stuff is more important to me than any amount of dollar you could put on anything, right? So I thought to myself, you know what? If I go into real estate, I probably still can make somewhere between 5 and 10,000 consistently, and then have control of my time, you know? And this was actually a misperception because it's the same thing, but we'll get to that later. So these were my thoughts at the time. So I made sure I did what I needed to do, had probably somewhere between 3 and 6 months saved up, paid up 3 months of rent and said, you know what? I'm going to jump into real estate head first, right? Now, this turned out to be a serious underestimation of how tough it was or was going to be to get my license. Because I'm thinking 3 to 6 months. It might have took me like a year to get my license, to be honest. And this is where it begins. So I paid to do the school course. Now, a lot of people may not know this about me, but I failed my school course twice. I did the exam the first time. I was doing online, by the way, so I was trying to cram it in at my own pace. And you know that can be give or take depending on what you got going on. So the first time, I think you need like a 75 to pass or something like that. I failed with like a 69, 68, like right there in the range where it's like, all right, bet. I'm only off by 5 or 6 points. Let me lock in, study a little bit harder, schedule it, come back 2 weeks, no problem, right? I go in there the second time. I fell with a even worse score. It was like a 63 now, a 65. So now here's the pincher, right? I failed the first time. I failed the second time. Now they say you got to start over again completely. So now I got to pay for the course over again. I got to go through, do the hours. I got to do everything over again, right? Now, I don't regret this, and I'll get to that a little bit later. But I do everything over again. Now, this would help me. The broker that I went to the first time gave me a discount code. So she said, I know what you're going through, this, that, and the third. She gave me a discount code, and it knocked off a reasonable amount to where it was reasonable for me to do it again. Excuse me. So I had some help along the way. So now I finally passed it. Now I get to the point where I can take my exam, right? Now, mind you, I don't have any job or anything. I dived in head first, thought all the money I had was going to take me until, what I needed. Nah. So I take the test. I failed that test 4 times. Mind you, I got to pay $115 or $120 in that range, somewhere like that, every time I take this test. So I'm not going to give up now. I done made it too far to turn back, but I'm talking about gut punch after gut punch, literally. Driving to Macon. I ain't even mention that part, right? That's like an hour and a half. Finally passed the test on the 5th try. Thank the Lord, right? I done shed a tear in the car, talking to myself about how my life going to change and it's going to be legendary and this, that, and the third. I mean, the whole 9, bro, wigged out, bro. Couldn't believe it. Finally passed it. And you know what's crazy? They show you your score every time you fail, and then you pass and be wondering, like, dang, what'd I get? You know what I mean? Like, I done seen it every other time, Finally passed it, don't matter, right? So now, this is the funny part. I got into real estate to be an investor, not to be a real estate agent. That wasn't even the closest thing on my mind. I like investments and stuff like that. So I get into being an investor. I failed my test 4 times, finally passed, just to find out that you don't need a real estate license to be an investor. And we will touch on these topics some point over this next 30-day challenge. So I get my license. I go to an investment brokerage, though. I'm not going to say it by name because it wasn't a good experience for me in particular. For somebody else, I can't speak for that. But for me, I think that, so this is my introduction to real estate. And then I'll explain everything else. First day on the job. It might be like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. Mind you, my investment brokerage off of MLK. So it's like, you know how MLK was. It's like a business park, but then it's like the hood right over there. You know how it is, right? So he take me over down the street real quick. He park at the thing. Now, mind you, I'm in an investment brokerage. So the operation is different from traditional. So we do things like bandit signs and this and that, to attract more investors to our deals and stuff like that, right? Now, in hindsight, I know that you're never supposed to put no bandit sign out in the middle of the day. I don't know. Some people do it, nah, right? So mind you, it's first thing in the morning. He like, yeah, go over there across the street. You know what I'm saying? Go over there across the street and then put them signs out. You know what I mean? So I go. I'm like, okay, cool. First day, it can't be too hard. So I go out there and put the signs out. Mind you, we in the hood. Two unk dudes standing right across the street, standing outside the store. Hey man, I don't know what they saying because I'm trying to ignore them because I know if they get too close to me, then I know what I'm gonna do. You know where I'm from. If I get uncomfortable, you know what time it is. So I'm ignoring them. I'm a professional now. I don't need nothing like this in my life. Let me ignore that, right? Boom. So they hollering though. They hollering the whole time. Boy, I'm down there. I'm putting the sign down. Boy, let me hurry up, get up out of here. Boy, I don't know what they gonna try to do to me, right? So I get in the car. Yo, wig out on me. Man, didn't I tell you put the sign like this, do this like that? You hold it's facing the wrong way and bro. Did you not just see them two dudes that was hollering at me the whole time like they want to do something to me? Bro, he said, oh yeah, I seen that. What? Now I feel like yo must think he a pimp or something. Nah, boy, I ain't. After that moment, this is my introduction to real estate, people. I had no respect for him to follow any kind of chain of command from that point. I'm sorry. I just don't believe in, somebody sending you into you know what I mean? He sent me into a hostile environment willingly and then tried to act like it was just weird, right? And, if somebody gonna tell you to do something that they not willing to do with you or something that they ain't done themselves, then you probably shouldn't do it or take their advice. You know what I mean? And that's just how I feel. And so, boom, that happened. So I only lasted maybe like a month and a half at my first brokerage that I ever worked for. Maybe even less than that, bro. It was just after that happened, I wasn't falling in line with the chain of command. So that's on me. Boom. Now I end up going to one of the best brokerages that I ever been to or been a part of. Keller Williams. Big shout out to Keller Williams Stockbridge, man. They was a great help. They supported me in my journey from the time that I got there and let them know, hey, look, I don't really care about all of this traditional buying and listing and all that. I just want to be an investor. So that's what I'm here to learn. And the managing broker at the time said, hey, well, you know what? It would benefit you if you stay here to educate yourself so you can understand the market in full. So you can basically know how to structure a deal top to bottom, know what ARVs and values look like in the neighborhood, all this and that. And it all made sense. So I said, okay, cool, let's do it. So now I stay here for probably almost 2 years. I didn't really do a lot of transactions at Keller Williams. I was more of a student of the game, which in real estate, you have to always be a student of the game. So I'm glad that I went through this experience. It really taught me patience and a lot of things that hit me later on in life, as I got like closer to my 30s and stuff like that. So I went there. I was there for about 2 years. And then I said, you know what? I understand what I need to understand now. Let me go back into it. So I went back to a different investment brokerage. And these guys, I love these guys. I mean, these are with I've met some of my good friends still to this day. Some of the guys that we, not just the business chemistry, we got actual real life. These are my guys. Like I would hang out with them outside of business, right? And we had a great culture there. And it was more up my alley because it was more of a, since it's investment, it's more revolved around the numbers. So it's more car dealership style. And I liked it that at first. But I think that it got to a point with them that it's certain things that I just know what I can and can't do. So it just got to a point where it was something that I literally felt like I could not do just on a daily basis. So, but other than that, I love them guys, but I think that it changed me when I got to the point where, you get your W-4 1099 back at the end of the year. And I looked at the amount that I made, and then I took my percentage that I was getting paid and then like put it all back together and seeing bro, like, you know what I mean? I got jukes basically, as they would say, you know what I mean, in New York or something. Like, it was like that, bro. Like, I made y'all this much and I only got this much. So once I looked at it, I said, man, you know what? This go against my whole philosophy. You feel me? If I could do X amount of deals, let's say I did, 20 deals to 30 deals in 1 year and got paid this. If I do 20 or 30 deals on my own, bro, I'm going to be a millionaire. You tripping. You feel me? So I said, you know what? Let me just go into this venture, let me see what I can do, right? So now this is where an experience that happened that changed my life in real estate. I went into a situation, and I mainly would look for investment situations. I was really not on listings or helping buyers traditionally. I used to refer them out before I would actually deal with them, right? And I went into a situation as an investment and ended up meeting someone that we really connected, and I seen how other people were trying to take advantage of her. So I genuinely wanted to help. That could have been my auntie, my grandma, you know what I mean? Like, you really want to help in that situation. Bro, when I helped this lady and helped her buy a house and she cried at the closing table, bro, I don't think I was ever the same. Told me how much I was just a blessing to her from God and helped her and, had the best agent to help me with it. Like, it was the love that I got from that was worth more than a commission check. This was the first time that this ever happened too, by the way, where it's like, I felt so good helping this person that the love that I received and the energy that I received from her will always outweigh however much money there was. Always, right? So now it kind of changed my perspective where I said, you know what? I want to actually help people, because you realize you get into real estate and you realize a lot of people don't really care about helping people. They just care about, let's get this money, this, that, and the third. And I can't say that I wasn't that way at some point, right? You gotta, I guess it take a few years to shake off the sleaziness from the car dealership. You know what I'm saying? But I think that, you could be so sales that you really missing the bigger picture. Like, you helping people create financial wealth. You helping people create financial freedom, add assets to their portfolio, all the good stuff that really matters, right? So I think that for me, this experience changed my life as far as like, now I'm open to listings. Now I went from, after that, I started primarily to try to focus on listings and buyers. Now I want to be traditional. So this is where all the Keller Williams stuff ended up benefiting me still down the line. And that's why I will be forever grateful. So now I have a process where we can find a property and identify what is the best strategy for said property that, in negotiations is always give and take. No one ever wins completely. We always win a little bit and lose a little bit. That's just how it works, right? So how can I streamline the process to where now I can cater the situation to help this person? And I think that I'm there now. I'm currently with EXP Realty, and I love EXP. I think they give me the freedom and flexibility with all of the tools and the support systems in place for agents to succeed. I really like their, every time I have a closing, they take a percentage and put it into an EXP stock portfolio. So I own shares of EXP while you're a part of the company. It's some awesome things that you can do with EXP Realty, and that's why I'm happy that I am currently here. But I cannot discredit no one that has been a part of my journey, from mixtapes, from insurance, from car dealership, from different brokerages. Even the bad experiences I had was just lessons. It's just life lessons that you learn, and it make you better because you always are a student of this game of real estate. And I hope by sharing this story, it will inspire someone to take action. It will inspire someone to continue to persevere and continue to fight for the life that you want and the things that you believe in. I am nowhere close to where I want to be, and I don't want to mislead you so you think that I am. But I would love to open up this journey to have more people included other than myself. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's how I'm going to end this video. I would love to collaborate. I would love to network. I would love to be a part of what you're building as well, so we can build something together. My name is Deontay Shaw. It has taken me 4 tries to record this video for whatever reason. The first time, my iPad ran out of storage. The second time, my iPhone died while I was recording. The third time, I was recording and somebody called me when I was like 15 minutes into the video. So this is the first one that I'm finally seeing through to the end. For anyone who is watching this, I appreciate you for taking your time to watch this. And I will be recording more videos, dropping way more content over the next 30 days just to start with. So if you don't like me, please unfollow me. Have a blessed day.